I'm Barbara. Welcome to Bee's Kitchen and Garden. Today's recipe is for a marvelous creamy potato and cheese soup. Here's what you will need, so get your ingredients and your equipment together. For equipment, you'll need a blender, a cheese grater, cutting board knife, potato peeler, measuring cup, and 2 pans. For your ingredients, you need low sodium chicken broth, milk, pepper, salt, Gouda cheese, 4 spring onions, 2 cloves of garlic, 3 medium to large red potatoes, butter, and paprika. Get your ingredients together and let's get started. This is the creamy potato and cheese soup we'll be making today. It was inspired by a recipe generously shared with me by Manon Plaza, who's the owner of the Hacienda San Agustin de Cayo in Ecuador. I've put it into U.S. measurements, U.S. spices, everything you can find easily in the grocery store, and of course my own twist of flavor. Enjoy. We'll start by slicing our spring onions or scallions. You can eat both the small white bulb part and the green part. If I find a little bit of a skin, I just toss it out. So slice your scallions or your spring onions, they're basically baby onions, until you get about 1/3 of a cup, using both the bulb white part and the green stem part. That looks good. Some of the green stem parts get a little worn, so I don't use that. So slice them up. Here's my 1/2 cup of sliced scallions. As you can see, I had a bit left over, but I'm happy with what I have for my 1/2 cup. Next, we're going to talk about garlic, and I brought in a chair so I could get close enough to the cutting board. The thing about garlic is if you want a nice mild flavor, slice it very, very thin, but don't interrupt or cut into the piece itself very much. Don't crush it. If you want a very pungent garlic odor, then use a grater or a garlic press or smash it. But it's really a strong garlic taste. Now it's time to put what we've done so far together. I added paprika, salt, and pepper to a saucepan, a nice big soup pan, with the scallions and sliced garlic and the 2 tablespoons of butter. So this is what it looks like. And now what you need to do is stir and make sure that those spices and the butter get all over every piece of garlic, every slice of scallion, and simmer for 20 minutes on the lowest heat possible. While our scallions and garlic are simmering in the spices on a low heat, covered, for about 20 minutes, peel your potatoes and cut them into bite-sized pieces. I usually slice them and then cut them from there. Some of these will end up in the blender and some will be in our final product. Our spices have been slowly simmering under cover and they look wonderful. Now what we're going to do is add all the potato pieces and coat them again with the spices to get full flavor on everything. So add your potatoes to the spice sauce. Because the potato pieces are so chunky and a bit larger than everything else, this takes a while. But see if you can't get all of that good yummy spice sauce on every piece of potato. Now add 2.5 cups of low sodium chicken broth and simmer, bring to a boil, and then simmer for about 15 minutes. While our potatoes are boiling and softening, let's start grating our Gouda cheese. This is a beautiful New York Gouda, And I have found that 7.6 ounces equals exactly 2 cups of grated cheese. So get your Gouda cheese. It's a wonderful, flavorful cheese. And it fits this recipe just beautifully. Take off the wax, of course, the nice covering that they have on the cheeses. To make it easier to grate, I cut my slice of cheese in half. Much easier to do this 1/2 at a time. When your potatoes are soft, turn off the burner underneath your boiling combination. Let it cool a bit because we're going to need to put some of it, actually almost all of it, into the blender. So let that mixture cool. When it's a little bit cool, go ahead and do the next step, which is combine 2 cups of milk in a blender with the 2 cups of grated Gouda cheese. Make sure your lid is on tight and blend until it's a nice creamy mixture. Now pour that creamy mixture into the broth that's been sitting on the stove and make sure to stir well to combine everything together. I can't lift the pan because it's a bit heavy at this point, but stirring well, stirring really well. Now comes almost the last step, but first we want to have some potato pieces in our soup, so we're going to try to leave all the spices in the broth, but take out about 1/3 of the potato pieces, so we have something chunky for our soup when we're ready to eat. After everything is well mixed in your pan, let's start putting it in the blender. Everything goes in the blender. The potatoes, the sauce. I'm being very careful because I know I need to do this in 2 batches. If I do it in one, it explodes or goes over the top of the blender, which I don't want. So I'll blend it, use my second pan for the results, and then blend the second half. My first batch is done, so I'm going to take the blended ingredients, everything, and pour it in my second pan, getting ready for my second batch. Oh, it looks delicious. Okay, we don't need to rinse out the blender because we're hoping the second batch will just be exactly the same as the first. Here's our final product, the delicious potato and cheese soup. Add the potato pieces that we took out previously, heat it up for about 10 minutes, and you'll have an absolutely delicious meal. Garnish with parsley. Hi, I'm Barbara. Welcome to Bee's Kitchen and Garden. Today's recipe is for a marvelous creamy potato and cheese soup. Here's what you will need, so get your ingredients and your equipment together. For equipment, you'll need a blender, a cheese grater, cutting board, knife, potato peeler, measuring cup, and 2 pans. For your ingredients, you need low sodium chicken broth, milk, pepper, salt, Gouda cheese, 4 spring onions, 2 cloves of garlic, 3 medium to large red potatoes, butter, and paprika. Get your ingredients together and let's get started.